I wanted to talk about the stealth in Marvel's Spider-Man 2 because out of all the gameplay aspects, this one feels like it's the one that got the least amount of attention, the least amount of improvements. And I believe there's still space to make it better in Marvel's Spider-Man 2. We don't have to wait until Marvel's Spider-Man 3 for those changes to happen. Basically, the only big improvements that we got for stealth is the addition of the web line and the possibility of taking two enemies out with one single stealth takedown, but that again is only possible in the web line. However, everything else is just recycled from the last games. I know they're going to be recycling some things of the last games, and it makes sense because it's the same game franchise, and because the stealth animations, the possibilities were already good back then, so of course they should continue now. But if you take a look on the stealth possibilities and the animations, you'll see that it's pretty much a copy from the other games. All Peter's stealth takedowns are the exact same that we got in the first game, with the exception of the ceiling and the wall takedowns, which were added for Marvel Spider-Man 2. He couldn't do those before. But the ceiling takedowns are a copy of the takedowns that Miles could perform in his own game. The only different one is the wall takedown that is very similar to Miles, but instead of kicking, Peter punches. Thank you, Sonic, for adding this change. Already makes it feel different and special to me, but still it's very similar. And for Miles, the situation is even worse because, yes, it's just a copy. All the animations are a copy from Miles Morales' game, with the exception of the perch takedowns that are a copy of the first Marvel Spider-Man game. In Miles Morales, they had perch animations that were just for Miles, so it was different from the ones that we got in the first game. But in Marvel Spider-Man 2, they gave both Peter and Miles Peter's animations from the first game, when we could clearly have for Miles the ones that he got in his own game. They didn't even bother to get those animations from Miles to make the perch takedown feel different between those two, so this is another area where it's the exact same between both Spider-Man. New types of enemies such as the Talon drones or the robot dogs, they got new stealth finishers because again they are different types of enemies. We didn't have them before in the franchise, so they get special stuff for them. But the enemies that we already had before, like regular thugs and stuff like that, we got the exact same animations from the other games. The only new one is Peter's wall takedown. If you compare to the finishers, for example, you'll see that yes, they also recycled a bunch of the finishers, and they should because they are awesome. I want to be able to use them again, but they also added new ones. We also have new possibilities. We get the old ones and new ones to make the game look fresh and also be able to get the good stuff that we had before. Why couldn't the stealth takedowns be like that as well? Regarding the new possibility that we got to take two people out with one stealth takedown, I love that possibility. It was so good. Thank you for adding it. But let me ask you, why can you only do it when you are on a web line? Why can't you do it when you're directly behind your opponents or when you're on a wall? Why can't you take two people out there as well? Or even worse, why can you only do it on the web line and not just on any perch position? When you're in perch position, it's basically the same thing as when you are in the web line. So why is it only available in the web line? It makes no sense. Before moving on, I just want to remind you to leave that thumbs up if you're enjoying my work. It will support me, and also subscribe in the channel and turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is out. Thank you. And here in this game, we also have the same situation that we got in the previous two games, where they create a specific stealth takedown, such as the air vent takedown, which I love to use. I really wanted to use this a lot in the game, but they don't give you the scenario or the space to do so. They don't create the spaces where you actually have air vents to go through for you to take people out. They give you the possibility when you're in basically the tutorial where you're doing the stealth for the first time. They show you, yes, you can take people out from the air vents. It's so cool. And you're like, oh, awesome. I want more of these. And then it's over. That is the only situation where you can do it. We could have more scenarios just like the ones that we got in the first DLC of the first game with Black Cats, the one that you're in the museum. You have a bunch of air vents to go through. You can take people out there. You can leave through the air vents. You can move around the area, and you have the option to use the air vents if you want or not. Please give us more scenarios and more spaces where you can actually go in and out of the air vents whenever we want, and possibly take people out using the air vents. It's a new possibility. It's a great way to hide the bodies. It's a great way for Spider-Man to hide from the opponents. And we could also have a different mechanic where if the opponents see you going through the vents, they can also throw a bomb, a gas bomb or something for you to get intoxicated, and then you have to leave fast. And this again would make it more interesting, add more possibilities, make it feel better. And again, some of these improvements, they could already happen for Marvel Spider-Man 2. You don't have to wait until the next game. They could give Miles the perch animations that he has in his own game. Just make an update and change the animations to make it feel different. Miles have his own perch takedowns while Peter has his own, instead of both having Peter's. The animations are already there. They are ready. They don't have to make new stuff. It's just get what they already had. Regarding the air vents that we were just talking about, they could add a new crime, for example, where there is a heist in a bank. And then you go there, you enter inside the bank, it's a closed space, and then there you can have air vents for you to explore that possibility as well. If they don't want to add this as a crime, they could also have this as DLC. Consider that for a DLC. If you make a Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC, you're going to have crimes for there, you're going to have missions, secondary missions. Add those spaces with air vents for us to use the air vent takedowns and for us to move in and out of them whenever we want. I know that giving us new stealth animations at this point is very unlikely, but that is still a possibility in case they wanted to release an update with new stuff for us. Maybe release it together with the DLC, you know, as a bonus, as a way to improve the game. If they wanted, they could. I know it's very unlikely for Marvel Spider-Man 2, but it's still possible. Imagine if the DLC for Marvel Spider-Man 2 is confirmed and they also say, okay, not only will we be getting a DLC, but we are also improving the stealth and now you can take out 2 people directly from behind or 2 people from a wall. Man, that would really make my day. I would love that. What is your opinion on the stealth of Marvel Spider-Man 2? Do you also feel like it's recycled and that they could have done a little better, or do you think it's already good in the way that it is? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments, be respectful to others, and let's be greater together.